Hi everybody, this is Father Warner D'Souza and we are in Wednesday of the 9th week in Ordinary Time. We are reflecting upon Mark chapter 12 verses 18 to 27. By now, Jesus had just about ticked off most of the Jewish groups in the temple. He has effectively become enemy number one, and after 3 failed attempts to trap him, a 4th attempt is made. The big guns are brought out to tackle him, and the Sadducees were a force to reckon with. Politically, the Sadducees were aligned with Roman rule. They had a saying, "While they reign, let us gain." In doing so, their position as authorities in the Jewish ruling council, the Sanhedrin, was secure. They formed the upper social and economical echelon of Judean society. But it is their rejection of the oral law that saw them caught up in constant inter-Jewish disputes between the Pharisees, who, unlike them, accepted the belief in the resurrection, the immortality of the soul, and the existence of angels. For the Sadducees, the go-to book was the Torah, or as we know it, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. They did not accept the historical books or the prophets. The Sadducees based their rejection of the resurrection on the silence of the Pentateuch, which they very strictly followed. So when entrapment in all its forms fails, the Sadducees were sent in with a different strategy. This time Jesus is not asked a political question that could land him in trouble if he answered wrongly. This time, it's a religious doctrinal question entwined in a hypothetical situation with a clear attempt to reduce the doctrine of the resurrection to complete absurdity. Any question on the resurrection would have the ears of the Pharisees puckered up, to say nothing of the consequences of the hold Jesus had on the people should he answer wrongly. This question was a hot potato that few would want to touch, but was now just tossed into Jesus' lap. To add to the touchy issue of the resurrection, the Sadducees add a religious obligation that stemmed from the book of Deuteronomy in chapter 25 verses 5 to 10, the issue of the Levirate marriage. The Levirate law's primary aim was to hold the possession of land within the family. In short, if a man died without an heir, then his widow was to marry her husband's brother or a kinsman, and thus the land was retained within the family. Jesus was certainly no fool. He saw how complex the issues thrown to him were. The authority quoted by the Sadducees to back their doctrinal claim was Moses himself. For them, Moses was the author of the Torah and the one from whose hand the law of God came. Jesus attacks both their failure to understand the law of Moses and their foolishness in limiting the power of God. This must have come as quite a slap in the face of those who claim to be authorities on both issues. The mistake the Sadducees make is to limit the power of God, in this case the resurrection, to their known categories of understanding. We too do the same. In reality, God is beyond all human categories, and hence He is God. For the Sadducees, resurrection was a continuation of human life, hence the question, whose wife will she be at the resurrection? Jesus knew that the Sadducees would not take any explanation for an answer if the answer was not from the Torah itself, the book that they accepted. So Jesus does precisely that. His reply comes from Moses in the Torah. God, in speaking to Moses in the incident of the burning bush, refers to himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If the resurrection was a myth, as the Sadducees claimed, then God would have referred to his relationship to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the past tense. But God does not say, I was the God of Abraham, but I am, thus establishing that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were alive and resurrected. In doing this, he demolished the hoax that the Sadducees had made the resurrection to be. There should have been a deafening applause to the answer of Jesus, most certainly from the Pharisees. After all, the traditional rivals of the Pharisees were demolished with the arguments of Jesus. Yet, if I may safely assume, hatred filled both sides of the aisles with a deeper resolve to eliminate Jesus. The plot simply thickens. If you like these reflections, then please subscribe to this channel by simply hitting the subscribe button. If you like the text form of this, you could go to my blog pottypadre.com, that's POTTYPATRE.com. Have a blessed day.